Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to appear here today. My name is Joe Keffer. I am the president of the Pennsylvania Association of Firearms Retailers. I am a business owner and a licensed firearms dealer, as well as being a representative of the interests of my fellow firearms dealers in the state of Pennsylvania. Beginning in 2008 and continuing through today, the firearms industry has experienced unprecedented growth. The last 6 months in particular have been unbelievable for most dealers across the country in terms of the volume of business that has been done. The limits have been tested at all levels. Manufacturers, distributors, retailers, NICS, and certainly PICs have all struggled to meet this surge of growth. The amount of time required to process background checks during some of the peak periods in December, January, and February ran as long as 55 minutes. Many retailers, myself included, had to expand the number of people doing checks by a factor of 2 or 3 in order to try to keep the process moving for our customers. There were times when our checks were on hold for 30 to 40 minutes just waiting to speak to an operator. And this was typical comments from dealers throughout the state. Please do not think that we expected PICs to flow as normal. No one was prepared to absorb this level of increased business. Captain Price and his people have worked diligently and continue to do so in an attempt to process these checks on a timely basis, and we thank them for their efforts. However, in discussions with dealers in states that utilize NICS alone, they did not experience anything like the increase in delays that we had through PICs. It would seem that for whatever reason, NICS was better positioned to absorb the increased volume. From our perspective, it seems like the duplication of effort, expense, and manpower does not translate into the most efficient method of accomplishing the task that we all strongly support, that being preventing prohibited individuals from obtaining firearms. In closing, we respectfully request that the need to duplicate this process at the state level be examined closely and then acted upon those findings. I thank you for allowing me to speak with you today.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate your testimony and your help with this. You know, I've talked with a number of retailers or dealers in this area, and they have the complete opposite than what you're saying as far as problems with PICs. They're saying they've had delays with NICS. And so I just wanted to point that out as well. I mean, that's from some of the retailers in this area. So I know it's a problem with both delays. So
I'm not sure I understand, since we function through the state police as a point of contact exclusively, how would dealers in Pennsylvania have a problem with NICS?
I believe probably what they were referring to was that the state police have mentioned to them that they were held up because of the NICS system.
Certainly that occurs from time to time. Yes, we meet with the state police on a regular basis to discuss issues of importance to both of us. We like to think we're on the same side, and in that we do not want prohibited individuals to get firearms. We try to explain the issues that are giving us trouble with our businesses in the context of that process. NICS has not been presented to us by the state police as a major issue with regard to the delays that we've experienced. What I was referring to was dealers that I know and meet with from across the country that I have asked them what their experience has been with NICS through this.
Right.
They said maybe from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, but nothing like what we've experienced.
Okay, thanks. Any questions, members? Representative Krieger?
Yes, again, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Keffer, for being part of this hearing today. First, could you tell me how many retailers are members of your association?
At present, we have just over 400 that are signed members.
And I heard your testimony, and I've heard some of the same things you've heard, the long delays, and you mentioned some of the delays in December, January, February ran as long as 55 minutes. Now, you heard the state police testimony that they did a telephone survey, and 96% of the surveyees were satisfied. Can you harmonize what you're hearing with that survey result, if you can?
Well, I'm not familiar with that survey. I don't recall having seen it. It may be on the state police website. I'm not aware of any dealer that was surveyed. Not saying it's not accurate. I'm just not familiar with it.
If you can, and if you can, I understand. Based on your experience, does that sound like an accurate number to you?
Of the dealers that I speak with, that would not be consistent.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Bradford, please. Question?
Thank you, Chairman. I just following up on Representative Krieger, you had given the number of your members. Would all of your members also then be federally licensed firearm dealers as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so every firearm sold by one of your members is already subject to a background check.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, so any legislation proposed to close loopholes would in no way, in terms of closing the loophole in terms of assault weapons, long weapons, that doesn't affect your business at all. Those
Your definition of loophole is
that
private
current
transfer?
yes, because all of your members are federally licensed.
That would not affect our operation of our business. That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Cutler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Keffer, over here. I appreciate you coming up this afternoon to share your testimony. I'm going to actually take off a question that I had previously in regards to the state police, understanding that internet sales are, in fact, under Pennsylvania law, treated the same as any other sale. Is that something that you individually in your shop or any of your other shops, is that something that happens frequently, where you have guns shipped from out of state that then have to be transferred through a licensed dealer in PA, and do you keep any records in regards to the volume of those transactions?
We receive transfers of very few firearms from other dealers. It's something that we do not encourage. Some dealers do seek that out as a way to get a new person in the store. Our evaluation of that is that we have had an inordinate amount of time involved with those kind of transactions, and we do not seek them out.
All right, thank you. But it is also your understanding then that the same laws, in fact, do apply for those kinds of sales.
Absolutely.
If that were the mechanism you were to choose to purchase your firearm.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Representative Dean.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You've described to us that business is on the rise, dramatically on the rise for your industry. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so associated with that, or maybe the delay was always there, but you're seeing also an increase in delays, not always for the PIC system, but sometimes you have these longer wait times.
That is correct.
Are your members losing customers as a result of that?
Some claim to, yes.
Although your business is really surging, as you've described. So it seems to me it's not a great deterrent.
Well, I would cite an informal telephone conference call among a number of dealers across the country, including big box stores that have stores in multiple states. And one of the largest made the claim that the problems that they had with PIC system was affecting their bottom line significantly, as opposed to what they experience in other states.
So people leave and don't buy a gun. Those who wanted a gun leave.
We've had that occur. So yes, that does happen.
And we're not sure if it's because of the delay or for some other reason, perhaps.
Well, we can't know that.
Right.
That's correct.
And to follow up on Representative Bradford's question, if Pennsylvania were to change our legislation and close the one loophole, what we're calling a loophole, it wouldn't affect your business, and in fact, it might positively affect your members' businesses because those private transactions would need to go and be with a federally licensed dealer.
It would not impact our business one way or the other.
But it might actually increase your business, might bring more people into your stores.
I suppose that's a possibility, yes.
Okay. And you talk about the benefits of NICS in terms of speed, but we heard testimony from the state police showing us that PICS actually has some other extraordinary benefits for capturing and identifying people who should not have guns. You're not here to dispute those benefits, are you?
I'm not privy to what other checks they do that NICS does not do.
I'm just referring to the testimony, maybe you weren't in the room, but the testimony we just heard from the state police in terms of the number of criminal investigations the PICS system has initiated.
I heard that. I can tell you that I was down at the Department of Justice at a meeting. The NICS system was part of the conversation there, and we had an informal discussion after the meeting, and one of the people from NICS who I spoke with, I said that PICS makes the claim that their checks are more thorough than what NICS checks are. And the response I got was one that you would not interpret as agreeing with that statement.
Even though the testimony that we just heard is contrary to that,
That's
and the
correct.
numbers that they offer us are
That's
contrary to
correct.
that. Thank you very much for your testimony, Mr. Keffer.
Any other questions? Chair would like to recognize Representative Sanacero from Bucks County